Dear friends of surviving, today we'll talk about the Donald Trump Bitcoin effect that could turn the current bear market into a bull market. I'm sure most of us saw that there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump where he was apparently shot in his right ear. This was followed by an increase in the Bitcoin price that rose to around 62,500. This was because his chances in winning the upcoming election increased from 60 to now around 68%, according to Polymarket. While the chances of his competitor in Joe Biden, his chances declined from 30 to only 15%. And this might be actually a very crucial timing, as in the last month the Bitcoin market experienced a down of 15%. This was because a couple factors came into play, and they were responsible for pressing the price of Bitcoin by a bit. First, there was the selling pressure that apparently the Bitcoin miners faced. This was because after every Bitcoin halving, the Bitcoin miners receive only half of what they originally received for creating the Bitcoins. And usually after the Bitcoin halving, the Bitcoin reaches all-time highs, which of course is the perfect time for Bitcoin miners to sell. However, in this year it was actually a bit different. Already in June, Bitcoin mining companies started to collect more Bitcoin, and they actually sold less of what they originally did in the last years. So this year it was a bit different, and the market kind of overreacted. Also, MT Gox announced that the lawsuit was finally over. MT Gox was once the biggest Bitcoin exchange. They held at peak times around 940,000 Bitcoins that were apparently hacked and stolen. However, 15% was able to be retrieved, and this was supposed to be paid back to victims. However, unfortunately for victims, while 15% is around 141,000, it's expected that only 95,000 will be paid back to victims. And this, of course, is a shame for victims, but actually good for the Bitcoin market, as a lot less Bitcoin are then in circulation and have the potential to be sold. As those people who might reclaim their Bitcoins, they experienced a plus of over 9,000%, which of course, it kind of makes sense to resell it then. So far, 20,000 Bitcoins are paid back to the claim fund, 10,000 Bitcoins are paid back to Bitcoinica, and 9,500 so far have already been paid back to individual creators. However, in this case, the market overreacted. On the other side, the German state of Saxony sold all their Bitcoins that they have received from scams. They sold a total of 40,000 Bitcoins worth around 2.3 billion in dollars. However, this amount was more than equalized. They bought actually more than this amount, so this was more than equalized. And there might actually be some factors that might you even lead to consider if Bitcoin is actually now in an upwards trend. Also partly because of Donald Trump. As first, Donald Trump's chances of winning the presidency and really supporting Bitcoin are starting to become more likely, and this already has been shown in the market, as even other cryptocurrencies have drastically increased. As Trump, again, he wants to support further Bitcoin technology with Bitcoin mining and maybe even consider Bitcoin as a Federal Reserve asset, which of course would be massive. Also on the other side, on the macro side, Bitcoin ETFs saw a major inflow. Already on Friday, 310 million inflows were collected. And this marks a 6-day streak of collecting over 1 billion in inflows in total. It was mostly the big players. BlackRock collected a total of 120 million. Second was Fidelity with 115. 28 million were collected by Bitwise, and 23 million were collected by Grayscale that also previously saw major outflows. So this might also be something that leads you to consider. This kind of shows an increase in market demand. On the other side, another interesting factor could come into play, and this might be the unbanning of Bitcoin from China, as China might consider, and they announced that they might consider unbanning Bitcoin in Q4 this year. And this would actually kind of make sense, as Bitcoin ETFs are already off forest, as there's already possible apparently to invest in Bitcoin ETFs. However, it's not legal apparently to invest in Bitcoins. In theory, it's possible. It's possible, for example, to have a VPN or to be involved in peer-to-peer trading or even use foreign exchanges. This is still possible, but it doesn't make really sense to me. As why would you allow a Bitcoin ETF if you cannot have Bitcoins by yourself? This doesn't make sense. And at the moment, it might be actually not so bad of an idea, as China has problems economically. I'm sure most of us know this. that in China it's very difficult to invest some money. A lot of people, they don't trust the stock market. And usually people started to invest in the real estate market. However, as we know, the real estate market massively crashed. So this is not an option. And this might lead to some people consider alternative investments like Bitcoin or gold. That could be actually an idea, as those are typically good investments in times of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Also, it might have the motive for China, as they don't want to fall far behind in innovative technology. And as Trump announced, he wants to massively support Bitcoin mining, and he wants to keep it technology in the United States. And this might be something that China doesn't like. I'm sure they don't like that the West will control all of the innovative technology in this case. I'm sure they don't like it. And of course, China's government also wants the people to make some money, as of course, why not? They would invest and they would also improve the economic times. This of course goes hand in hand with an increase in the economy. So this is very interesting. In my opinion, I have to say that Donald Trump actually can have an effect on this, as it symbolizes the impact. It also symbolizes the current sentiment that investors have. They believe that Donald Trump can become the next president. I mean, his chances to become the next president rose to almost 70%, which might indicate already that it's likely that he could win. And this could mean a drastic change in Bitcoin technology, and also maybe even consider Bitcoin as a Federal Reserve asset. However, I think I have to say this is unlikely for me. So I think he most likely just said it to get more voters. So I don't think this will really happen. But of course, we have to see. Also, the Bitcoin ETFs that collected more money. This might also be more and more of a trend, as it was a good time to really buy more Bitcoins at the moment, as not only the Bitcoin ETF saw some inflows. In general, private investors went shopping. A lot of whales bought Bitcoins in current times. So this might also indicate the sentiment in the Bitcoin market. And like I mentioned, those price indicators that originally were responsible for pressing Bitcoin, they were overreactions. They were overreaction, as it never really turned out as bad as originally thought. So we have to see. On the other side, I think with China it could be really interesting, as I think China would be really keen to not lose track of this innovative technology. And this might have a political motive. Also, it might lead maybe even to a crypto war, basically, where China and US might participate. And this might be even good for private investors like us, as they're starting to increase technology. They could make Bitcoin mining, for example, more efficient. They could also improve technology. They could improve blockchain technology, for example, as more money will come into the market. So of course, this could be very interesting to see in the future where this goes. Also, let me know what you think. Do you think that Donald Trump could actually be the turning point in this case, like I just mentioned? Or do you think it's not just a combination that has nothing really to do with him? And apparently that Donald Trump wants to show that he supports Bitcoin mining in the future doesn't have an impact on China's decision in really changing and massively improving their regulations regarding Bitcoin and innovative technology. Let me know. That's it for today. I will see you in the next video. Also make sure to check out my other videos. I recently uploaded a video about Donald Trump. I uploaded a video about Donald Trump where I explain the impact he can have on the further Bitcoin market. Make sure to check out this video. That's it for today. I will see you in the next video.